How to become a web developer in 3 simple steps. Spoiler alert, breaking into tech isn't as hard as it seems, and yes, we are talking to you, the person who is reading this because they are wondering how to become a web developer and more importantly, whether they can pull it off. Whether you are in the path of career change from another industry or want to rejoin the workforce after time away, there is a good chance to teach career offer the flexibility and salary you're looking for. One of the most versatile ways into tech is through web development, which leads us to burning questions. How do I become a web developer when I have no previous experience? It can sound like a hard to reach goal, but the path to becoming a developer isn't as hard as you might think. For instance, try months versus year when picturing the time it takes to learn the skills you need. Meanwhile, there is the whole world of resources to teach you how to become a web developer, many of which are free, including our guide and that even more in depth on all things web developer right here. Read on, learn some of the basic steps you will need to take toward becoming a web developer. Number one, figure out the skills you will need. Number two, build experience while learning through test web development projects. Number three, find the ideal web developer jobs for your goals. How to become a web developer? A three simple. Step 1, pick the skills you need to work in web development. Web developer jobs are typically skill based as opposed to requiring credentials like a tech specific bachelor's degree or even an associate's degree, which means if you have the skills, you can do the job. Step 1, then on the road to web development, identify exactly what those skills are. In doing so, it is important to note that there are two categories of web development: front end development and back end development. Front end development skills: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Front end development work with the visual parts of a website that users see to interact with through their web browser. According to Anna Martinez, front end development developer at Digital Production Studio Z1, there is a trifecta of code languages that serve as a backbone for any front end developer career. When I started working as a front end developer, the first skill employee asked for JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. For me, those are the three main web developer languages. From those come all others. HTML and CSS are markup languages used to define the parts of a web pages and their style, front, color, layout, respectively. Meanwhile, JavaScript is a scripting language used to control dynamic content on a web page like scrolling videos, animated graphics, and interactive maps. A working grasp of these three languages is enough to start doing paid work in the web development.